My report for today is about fables. If we say fables, it is a short story tale in which the chief characters are animals and sometimes inanimate objects that act and talk like human beings. The wisdom of the foolish acts of human beings are shown by the actions and words of the beasts. The fables must always point a moral. Often the theme or the moral appears at the end of the stories. Dito is, fables are characterized with animals that talk like humans but keep their animal trait. Then matatagpuan yung moral lesson sa fables at the end of the story. We will move on to the sources of fables. First is Aesop fables. Most of the fables have been attributed to Aesop, who was said to have been a Greek slave. He was ugly but cunning and clever. His skill in making fables gained him his freedom from slavery, and he even won a high position in government. Aesop was a Greek slave. Slave means alipin, but he is also a clever, matalino. It says here that Aesop was attained a freedom from slavery because of making fables. In Greece, during the era of the tyrants, people had no freedom of speech. The fable was largely used for political reasons to attack the corrupt officials. The most prominent user of the fables was Aesop. But this account of Aesop, of the idea that a person named Aesop ever existed, is purely legendary. Next is Panchatantra. The Panchatantra, meaning 5 books, was composed about 200 BC. It is the oldest known collection of the Indian fables. It is the source of many of the Aesop and La Fontaine fables. It is Anatis Shastra, which means book of wise conduct in life. The book is written in the form of simple stories, and each story has a moral and philosophical theme. Next, Jatakas. Another ancient collection of Indian fables is the Jatakas. Jataka is a Buddhist name for stories concerning the rebirth of Gautama Buddha, who according to tradition was reincarnated many times in the forms of many different animals until he became at last Buddha, the Enlightened One. These beast stories were about a man living briefly as an animal, associating with other animals. The man derives moral lessons from these experiences. The meaning of Jatakas is any of some 550 birth stories or narratives of former incarnations of Gautama Buddha collected in Buddhist sacred writing. La Fontaine. Another name associated with fables is Jean de La Fontaine, a Frenchman who turned many of the fables of Aesop into verses. Jean de La Fontaine was a French fabulist and one of the most widely read French poets of the 17th century. He is known above all for his fables. We will move to the characteristics of fables. Number 1 is, characters of the story are usually animals. Next, animals are made to think, act, and talk like human beings. The moral lesson of the story is usually at the end. The story is usually short. Animals personify human beings. The fable is full of actions and conversations. 7. Full of humor and funny situations. And the last one is, some have tragic and dramatic series of events. Values of fables. They give delight and enjoyment to both children and adults. They teach ethical truth in an attractive manner or form. They provide background for the understanding of many new or current expressions and allusions. 4. Some of the fables serves as a guide to good conduct on the child's level of experience. Next, children enjoy the fable because of the prominent part played by animals. 6. They touch moral and spiritual sense of values. Next, they cultivate thinking and imaginations. The last one is, they are good for storytelling and dramatization purposes. The following are some examples of fables for children. Number 1 is The Lion and the Mouse. The story of the lion and the mouse illustrates that a kind deed is never wasted and whatever kindness we can do is related to good citizenship. Number 2, The Fox and the Crow. In The Fox and the crow learns a valuable lesson about flattery because he complimented her. She fell into a trap of flattery, which caused her to forget about the food in her mouth. The moral of the story: don't believe everything you hear. Not everyone has your best interests at heart. Number 3, The Crow and the Pitcher. The moral of The Crow and the Pitcher is that one should use their intelligence when in a difficult situation. Number 4, The Turtle Who Could Not Stop Talking. The moral lesson is to be obedient and follow the instruction of others for us to be safe until we reach our destination. The last one is The Milkmaid and Her Pail. Moral lesson: do not count your chickens before they are hatched. Don't be overly confident in something because we didn't know what will happen. There are examples of proverbs and expressions. Number 1, practice what you preach, the wolf and the donkey. One good turn deserves another, the dove and the ant. Sour grapes, the fox and the grapes. Example is the best teacher, the two crabs. Don't be too ambitious, the town mouse and the country mouse. 6. God helps those who help themselves. Hercules and the wagoner. Don't be greedy, the dog and his shadow. Look before you jump, the fox and the goat. Common sense is better than force, the wind and the sun. Number 10, don't be boastful, the frog and the ox. Don't live for tomorrow what you can do today, the ant and the grasshopper. Slowly but surely, the hare and the tortoise. 13, when one tries to please everybody, he pleases none, not even himself, the miller, his son, and the ass. It is often much easier to suggest a plan than to carry it out. Belling the cat. 15. It takes time to attain success. The goose with the golden eggs. Easy to get, easy to forget. Monkey and the barber. Next, be yourself if you want to be your best. The crow and the partridge. 18. Your best friend can be your worst enemy. The turtle and the eagle. 19. If there's a will, there's a way. The crow and the pitcher. 20. Don't be greedy or don't be selfish. The monkey and the turtle. Thank you for listening.